Welcome to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blasdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box.
Sign here. Roseanne Sherry Barr. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go, running for president.
I was like, what is she doing now?
She approaches socially relevant causes in a manner that most politicians would run away from.
We want marijuana legal! I want to reinstate the blessed and holy guillotine!
Granny's back on the pipe. I'm uniquely qualified to serve the American people because I was a waitress for 15 years.
She had a vision of what she was trying to say to America, about America, and she was willing to fight the fight.
You know, everybody knows Roseanne Barr. I'm the only serious comedian in this race.
You could really get people thinking about the fact that this two-party system is really a bit of a con.
Can't they see? Can't they see that nobody's going to vote for Jill Stein?
It never dawned on me that the functionaries of the party would reject Roseanne Barr.
I wasn't shut up by networks or nothing else. I won't be shut up here either. But you're right, I don't want to just attack. I really just want to attack.
With the gin and tonic in this hand and the blunt in this hand, she hasn't forgot where she came from.
To choose the lesser evil is no damn choice at all, ladies and gentlemen. Wake up! Wake up! Can an intelligent woman win in a really stupid, rigged system? We'll find out. I'm killing.
Hello everyone, I'm Christine Blasdale, and that was a clip from the new film Roseanne for President, which I believe is available on DVD. It was in select cities nationwide, and it's now out on DVD. And this is really the behind-the-scenes true story of Roseanne Barr's third-party run for the highest office of the land in 2012. Yes, that's right. She actually ran for president on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket. And well, with all the recent election activity, mayhem that we've had going on, and the rise of one Donald J. Trump as our next commander-in-chief, I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity to speak with Roseanne directly, not only about Trump and Hillary Clinton as well, but the whole two-party system and whatever the hell she wants to talk about. We're going to get into that. And I was really honored to produce Roseanne on her own radio show at the Pacifica Radio Network a few years ago. And I gotta tell you, if I know anything, she has no problem expressing her opinion. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to Out of the Box Radio my lovely friend, my fellow Scorpio, and really the original sitcom queen of badass herself, the wonderful Roseanne Barr. Welcome, Roseanne.
Hey, thanks a lot, Christine.
So the obvious thing, we're all sort of kind of reeling from this, and I don't know where you're at on the spectrum. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump.
The autism spectrum?
Yes.
Yeah, I sort of feel that's part of it too. But, well, I'm just happier than hell. I've been, celebrating all day, so I have to apologize if I sound a little drunk and such. I am. I've just been celebrating with my boyfriend, Johnny, all day since last night. And, I'm just so happy. And, but I am sad in a way because of all my friends have been calling, and family members. They've been calling me all day and saying, "Oh, they're so upset and they're so afraid," and you know, they really think that it's a bad thing, and they're asking me why I. Well, first of all, they asked me how I could possibly have supported Donald Trump, and they're kind of offended and pissed off about it. And also, then after that settled in a while, the next thing they asked me was, "Well, what are some of your positive thoughts about it?" You know, they kind of wanted to know or hear the other side.
Right, right.
You know, after the initial shock, and they're like, "Look, I'm gay. I'm out of here. I'm moving to another country immediately. I already have my tickets. I have property bought. He's going to kill all the gays." You know, a lot of people of color are saying that too. They're getting the hell out of here, and they're just terrified, you know. But you know, so that makes me sad because they don't know what a great thing it is yet. But I think they will learn it. I think they'll back into it in a few months when their lives are better. And I do think that's what'll happen. And I wish they could. I wish that they could hear it. I think they will hear it, but they're just not hearing it now. And I think the reason why they're not hearing it now is, you know, because they're under heavy MK Ultra mind control, and they bought the party line. And you know, every day on television, they were telling them, you know, corporate owned media was telling them that, you know, he's a racist, and you know, that he hates. He's gonna, you know, those are not things he said, and if they came close to sounding like that, they were completely taken out of context. But it kind of makes me sad because then people didn't investigate any further. Once they heard the imposed term racist or homophobic or a lot of other code words that, you know, we've been programmed by mind control of our of bad people. I'm just going to say bad people with bad intent. You know, they hear these code words, and code words, if you know about MK Ultra mind control or any kind of mind control.
Yep.
MK Ultra, of course, being the most successful one. When you study it and you know about how code words work and the absolute power of words, sometimes it's to make people act. Some code words make people act, and other code words make people silent. So, you know, nobody wants to be called a racist or a homophobe or, you know, and you know, I don't know, you know, they don't want to be called a hater or an ignorant bigot, you know. And so once they hear that, they think it's true. No matter if they were saying that about, you know, anybody.
Well, the fear
anybody
machine
at all, just the accusation itself is so powerful that it evokes a response.
Well, I know with the initial, I mean, I'm just looking on social media, and people are losing their minds. Yeah. I mean, people who are actually like were pretty progressive, nice, you know, folk. Right. They're posting stuff like, you know, fuck you if you voted third party or you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, da 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 da. And I mean, personally,
well, that's go ahead. That's like so telling because it's showing who she is and who her followers are. And I don't think they have very much depth or self-awareness, because no victim of, you know, mind control does. They just, you know, they're just operatives. They're activated operatives who are activated by code words. And so it's very, very interesting to me to have seen it. And that's why I like Twitter too, because you can see how code words activate people. You know, you can see the extremes of that. And over the last, 18 months that we had this election, and for me, longer, because I learned, I learned it the hard way by running for president of what they do and how they censor and shut down. Really it's dissent. And they don't like whistleblowers either at all.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
And no, so they have their words that they can use. And, you call somebody, I saw what they do. I mean, I've been I am on the autism spectrum, so I do concentrate on one thing for way too long until I figure it out, and I'm fascinated by it. And I was fascinated for a long time at how the use of code words is so important to, every basic social experiment,
Well, let's talk
It's
about
Pavlovian.
Yeah, of course, and I've seen it through the course of this election, and then even with WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, equating Russia, and all they had to do is say Putin, Julian Assange, or Russia is now interfering with our elections, and that is such bull. But they put it out there, and
I know, like I said, Russia didn't make Hillary steal the election from Bernie. The nomination. Russia didn't do that.
That's right.
Russia didn't steal the nomination from Bernie using Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who had to resign for doing it. And then the very next day, Hillary hires her. Come on.
Yeah.
How transparent
Blatant.
is that shit? And then they're like, well, he's a racist. And it isn't even true. They just bought them all off. And, they're terrified that, the racists are going to come for them. But they, here's the thing. When you're like, listen, this is a better way of saying it. When power not only manufactures consent, we all know what that means, right?
Yep.
And it's also manufacturing dissent. You ought to take a real fucking close look at that for a minute or two. You ought to take a real close look at that. Yeah. And, fortunately, I think working class people did that exact thing. And, they finally realized, I think it was a coup on bullshit, I said that in my campaign in 2012, that I would declare bullshit illegal. And I think that's what just happened. Working class people, working people, non-academic working people, the people who do the real work that makes shit go, they just went, this is all bullshit. And, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going along with it. And they just said, fuck you. And it's just great. Because that was fucking centuries in the making. And I just love it.
Now, you had talked about, obviously too, we're happy. I myself am very happy that Hillary is not going into the White House, and the powers that.
Could you believe that shit? Oh my God, they really did. They really did. She exposed her own fucking self, though. Aside from the whole WikiLeaks thing and all the layers of that, of the layers of corruption around her that have always been there, and always hidden too. She managed to just get away with so much for so long.
Both her and Bill.
Because they're protected, huh?
Both her and Bill, the whole Clinton Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
I still can't believe the fact that, and here it is, we have more and more exposure about the whole Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein connection, this guy who's a billionaire pedophile. And the convicted pedophile. Exactly. And the many trips that Bill Clinton had made, on the jet, and Hillary. And yet it doesn't make an ounce of the news. And it's to show that she's being protected by the media and the corporate media. And again, like I know my reason why. I'm very grateful that she did not make it. But
why?
Well, my reasons, because I know what a warmonger she is. I also know how completely evil she is. From our friend Kathy O'Brien, not only from that, but from what I've witnessed, and from the coups, and from the murder and mayhem that she has unleashed. You know, it's almost like she's like Lady Bathory. You know who Lady Bathory was, yeah?
I don't know. Who is it? I can't remember.
Oh, Google her up. You'll just
okay.
Yeah, but so
who is it?
Oh, it was this woman. I believe she was from Romania. Maybe it was like 17th century. A very, very wealthy aristocrat who had a penchant for young girls. She liked to bathe in their blood.
Oh, I heard of her. Yeah.
And she got away with it because everybody would say, "Oh, well, she's too, this is a fine lady. She would, no." And then they finally found out.
Well, also they make it so hideous that people are like, there's no way stuff like that goes on.
No way that Bill Clinton and these highfalutin folks are involved in pedophilia, and it's so shocking to the system, and people don't want to believe it, that they call it a conspiracy theory or whatever, and they back her, and that was what was so shocking. But I'm glad about that. But
I know.
I want to know your reasons.
Like
what are your reasons?
The least of it.
Yeah, what are your reasons that you're happy that Hillary did not make it?
Well, the things you said, of course, I agree with. But that she is just, she'll do anything for money. I mean, that's all she cares about is money. And that offends me because, I don't like, a lot of times young girls will come up to me and they say, "Oh, I just got to thank you because you made me who I am." And, a lot of people have said that to me, and I'll look at them, and I'll be like, well, sometimes I'm glad they're saying that to me, just looking at them. But other times, like, man, you're fucking nothing but a dirty whore. I don't hope I didn't help you do that. Don't fucking blame me. I got enough of my own sins to answer for on Judgment Day there, but don't be fucking implicating me in your fucking that you'd do anything for money. Jesus Christ.
I think that's one of the worst sins, because it's true. There's, when you do anything for money, there is no limit. There is no limit, and that's why.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Check this out. She takes the money from starving Haitian earthquake victims. I mean, there is just nothing more fucking vampire than that story. I mean, that's a fucking vampire. Forget bathing in the blood. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. And she took the fucking money. And, what was disgusting to me is that I and other people, Cynthia McKinney, other people, we've been saying that I said it in my 2012 campaign that she had stolen money from, like, starving Haitian children. And then she's over here telling black people how, they owe her their vote. I mean, there were so many layers to it that is just so ugly. And but that's who they are. That's who the world leaders, or the people that we've been told are leaders, that's how they are. And it's like, it shouldn't be like it. We shouldn't let that go on, because I do think we'll be judged. Well, I do think we're judged for the people we elect. We definitely are.
Well, it's the vulture mentality, and I guess it is something that, like what you said before earlier, is like, if it's so heinous, people don't want to believe it. But it's that vulture mentality where, like, even she was referring to a young boy who was, maybe it was from Syria or from Aleppo, from where he was, sitting there just like, covered in blood, and all these children in Syria, what's happening there, and she was using this child as like some kind of promotional thing about why it's important for her to be, to become president. I wanted to scream through the television set, these kids, these people that are being bombed in these other countries is because of people like Hillary and Obama. I mean,
well, it is because of her. It's not because of people like her. It's because of her.
You're right. You're right.
And I don't think there's too many like her. But there's a lot of them, and they seem to all be very powerful, because I guess there aren't that many people who will do what it takes to become that powerful.
Yeah. Boom.
Hopefully.
Boom. Exactly. We were talking about earlier.
Nobody nice is the head of any place.
Well, that's why Bernie.
Well, maybe they are.
I think that's why they couldn't.
That's probably the exception rather than the rule.
And I think that's why they couldn't let Bernie move any further forward. I think my intuition or my feeling was that he got, I feel like he got threatened or told, to bow down to the Queen.
Well, I think his shit got exposed. His shit got exposed, and, like it does. Because, I mean, come on, you're not going to be there for 30 years by being nice and doing any good shit for people. Let's be real.
And you think they have something on everybody there? Do you?
Well, they did. I remember the exact story. It was that they came with stuff about his wife, Jane, and that she had bankrupted the school she worked, the school where she worked. She bankrupted it. So, right there, it's exactly what people say when they criticize socialism. So we've got that not too far. And I think, it was just amazing to see secret after secret exposed, because some people are saying, well, this was a coup. I say a coup against bullshit, but it really was a coup and a counter coup is what they say, because, information that's no longer
secret, right?
Held secret because of blackmail and shit like that they keep stuff secret. It's all exposed. So that's kind of really another good reason that I'm so happy, because when there are no more secrets, when they are not able to keep secrets from the people any longer, they can't have power, because knowledge is power. When it's in the people's hands, as it was in the hands of Anonymous and, all the people who did that kind of work, that's why he won too. Facts matter to people, data matters to people, and they've been for centuries selling us some other bullshit while they keep secrets for each other at our expense. But that isn't going to happen anymore, and that's just great.
In all of your travels and the work that you've done, have you met Donald Trump, or do you know him personally?
Oh yeah, yeah, I've met him. It's funny. In my second, I've done 4 HBO specials, stand-up, and in my second one, Donald Trump was kind enough to drive me on stage. I filmed it at the Trump Resort in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And he drove me on stage in his old Packard. It was a real fancy Packard at the opening of that special. And, he's always been very nice to me, and, just a real nice guy. And then also when I had my talk show in 1998, one of my most fun segments and shows was when I had on Donald Trump and Michael Moore, and, you know, we had a three-way debate about our country. This was in 1998. And I say to Donald, boy, you ought to run for president because you've got a lot of really great ideas. And and he did. And we agreed on a lot. And, you know, and then, you know, Michael Moore was there too. And they agreed on many things too. So, you know, it's just interesting to have seen that clip again in the last couple months I watched it. But yeah, he had really great ideas. His greatest idea, which this is what nobody on the left ever talks about, because they're more into how things make them feel than actual facts, because that's part of mind control too. And you know, the Obama administration, as well as the Clinton administration, you know, they were. You know, it was a lot of mind control going on, and you know it, Christine.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And so, you know, in collusion with the corporate media, and people are being told what to think, not how to think. You know, people should learn what he was really talking about, and that's what they say his ground game was. He would go and speak to 20 and 30,000 people in person, and that was his ground game, and they would hear his platform, you know, and it was not censored through media. They would hear his actual ideas, and they were really impressed with them. And I was impressed too, because I actually read what each candidate was saying and what they stood for. But he's against Common Core, and to most parents in this country and teachers as well, you know, that's like right up there with No Child Left Behind. And it's just a corrupt education system that promotes racial profiling so that kids in the inner cities can, you know, get shitty schooling and then be ripe for either prison or going to war.
Going to war.
So Common Core is the worst fucking thing we've ever had in this country as far as our children are concerned. And, you know, it's just, you know, there shouldn't be federal regulation of education. That's really bad. I think people should be allowed to choose what their children learn. And, you know, they also should be able to protest when their kids are given 6 hours of homework every night. And, you know, it's just wrong. It just sucks. So I'm glad that he's against that, because that really needs to go. And, you know, the things he outlined that he would do in his first 100 days, you know, most of them I totally agree with. If you notice, Hillary didn't even make a list like that, because she didn't have to say what she would do in the first 100 days or offer any suggestion of appointees or anything like that, because she only needed a couple words to get people to vote for her.
Launch war. That's all she needs. That's really what it is. Launch
She just
war.
she needs the word racist, and you know, the code words that really pack a lot of punch.
I know that Donald Trump.
And in fact, she, you know, has just said terribly racist stuff herself forever, and no one ever holds her accountable for anything she does. Like, it really blew me away that Donna Brazile and Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to resign and get in trouble because they helped her cheat, but nobody ever held her responsible that she cheated.
Right.
They go, oh, yeah, Donna Brazile gave her the answers, or gave her the question. Well, how come nobody ever said, man, Hillary, she cheated?
Well, how about the most?
Because she's always got somebody else to blame, like a lot of a lot of her fans. They just want to be able to sanctimoniously rail at people rather than actually having facts at their their knowledge base.
How can they, on one side of the mouth, say that ISIS or ISIL or whatever the newest machination of Al Qaeda, whatever the boogeyman is that they want us to believe now, that they say that those groups are funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And then
Yeah.
out of the other side of the mouth, the Clinton Foundation is getting millions of dollars. Bill Clinton's getting like $1 million birthday present from Saudi Arabia. They're getting money from Qatar.
Yeah.
If it was you, Roseanne, if Roseanne Barr got millions and millions of dollars from these regimes that are, I mean, let's talk about being brutal to,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about homophobia and women's rights? There's no such thing.
She takes money from governments
brutal
that,
dictators.
Whip rape victims and throw gays off buildings. And then all you see is a bunch of gays and women supporting her. It's fucking, that's MK Ultra mind control.
Boom.
There's no other way to describe that.
But the answer was always, but she's a woman. She's a mother.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, and I love, yeah. Well, I can take it when, oh my God, don't get me started on that one. That just fucking so pisses me off. Because I call them deminists, which is a Democrat feminist. And they're deminists. And, it's just anything for the party. It's like Stalinist, crazy. It isn't feminism, I know that. And she is not a feminist because feminists aren't warmongers. They don't arm both sides of every conflict on earth and then pocket the money that they get from selling weapons. That's not feminist.
And who suffers the most from war? Women and children.
That's right.
Now, we had played earlier in the beginning of the show. I played. Well,
men don't have it too good either. Cause
no, you're right.
They're out there getting killed, and for trying to protect and fighting, and so are women, of course. But nobody has it good under that system of endless war. Nobody, except the people who.
The vultures.
Are at the top.
The vultures.
The top of the pyramid. Yeah, the vulture capitalists.
We had
war profiteers.
Since you had you yourself actually had you threw your hat in the ring in 2012 for the presidential. I want to talk about that. I want our listeners to know about that because I don't think people knew that. I mean, I knew, but I don't think that most people, especially our listeners, I don't think that they knew that you even were in the running. Let's talk about that. You originally wanted to go. You originally wanted to run with the Green Party, correct?
Well, Cynthia McKinney, as you know, had been the nominee of the Green Party.
Yes.
And she asked me if I was willing to carry the water, and I said I'll carry the water, and because I didn't think anyone else was going to, and I was right. But anyway, so I said yes because I like Cynthia, and
she's a brave woman.
Yeah. So. And she acted as my campaign manager, and I became the nominee of the Black Caucus of the Green Party. And as that, I also made a documentary about it called Roseanne for President. But as that person who campaigned under that heading, man, I thought I knew a lot, but boy, I didn't know nothing. And I learned a lot, but so I did not get the nomination of the Green Party, primarily because the Green Party and Jill Stein and Michael Feinstein, they had no idea that there was a Black Caucus of the Green Party.
Oh, Jesus! Yeah, right.
I'm not lying.
Right,
and,
right. Gotcha.
They were shocked,
right.
And then they found it offensive that it was me. But anyway, so then I went. Cynthia got me hooked up with Cindy Sheehan. And so it was, Cynthia said it was two Cindys and a Roseanne. And we figured out how I could get the nomination of the Peace and Freedom Party, another another California Socialist Party, which was, the Black Panther Party in California, of which Eldridge Cleaver was one of the first nominees. But anyway, so that's the nomination I did get. So it was really hard to make it on the ballot, and I realized during the run that making it to the ballot is really what democracy is all about. It's not about voting for one or two sanctioned candidates. It's for being able to get your ideas as well as your nominee on the ballot, and it's almost impossible. And of course now it's even more impossible than it was in 2012, and it was really hard then. What was great about my campaign is in the end when you do your autopsy, your political autopsy, is we figured out that I had paid $1 per vote, and that's what they care about, whereas Obama had spent $2,500 per vote. So I felt like that was really showing that we don't need, I wanted to show that we really don't need money in politics if we have commitment.
Well, we don't need money in politics. You're right.
No,
but also if the media, and it's not going to happen because the corporate media is bought and sold. They're whores. But
yeah,
if the media, if the news.
But I think they killed themselves during this. I think during this election cycle. They're
baby.
Just all but dead. They're just a walking fucking corpse.
Yep.
Nobody gives a shit.
That's why everybody's going to alternatives.
And we learned all the way through that. They never talked about issues at all. It was all about Donald Trump said
his hair.
Fat.
Yeah. Well, and also that's why I think that the podcast world and alternative media, social media is so big right now, because people who listen to like out of the box radio, it's not just that's on their TV dial and they're gonna channel surf and catch it, and it's us. It's some institution telling you what they think that you need to, like, we're just going to tell you this. We're going to lead you down the path.
Well, it's just somebody telling you what they're paid to tell you.
Exactly. But with the podcast world, people are seeking out the information because they're like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I like the people that she's talking to. And it makes sense to me. It makes sense. I'm getting goosebumps from it. It applies to me, and it's truth. It feels like truth. So they're seeking out the information, and that is a powerful revolution in media because we've never had that.
No, we've never had it because we just had very tightly controlled information, and then, they go from there. Like I say, they not only manufacture consent, but also dissent. So that's their way of controlling the dissent that's brought against them. It's actually brilliant. But any independent dissent is just squashed, and, or worse, those people just completely removed. Whether it's into prison like Chelsea Manning or just like Seth Rich, removed, or,
Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Or like just completely censored. Like I can't tell you how many of those code words have been used on me, and it feels pretty devastating. But if you can hang in there and keep going, pretty soon they do end up, it seems, just hanging themselves, because bullshit can only go so far. Truth can go all the way and keep on going.
Oh, yeah.
But bullshit always hits the wall sooner or later because it's finite and it's a lie. So, like, that's what I say about Hillary. Like, well, winners do not need to cheat. In fact, they never cheat, and that's why they win. Losers cheat. And that's just true.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
My son said, well, Mom, that's not always true, because sometimes cheaters do win, and that is true. For a while, I said, yeah.
Temporarily.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there is a point where arrogance, like, this Jewish saying. It says that arrogance and ignorance they're married, and one is never without the other. So you're never arrogant without also being ignorant, and you're never ignorant without also being arrogant. So eventually those two things just implode a person. And you don't have to do too much about it. It says, well, don't, it teaches us, well, don't step in there and take that karma. Just let it work itself out. And, you just stay clean. And, you stay clean because it'll take itself out. And like they say, a lie can run around the world twice while the truth is still putting its shoes on.
Yeah. And I think what's happening now too, I think there is a universal conscious. I think people are waking up, and
yeah, definitely.
It's not. It's kind of like a baby that wakes up from a nap. In the beginning too, it's a little, the cranky and outbursts and things like that. But on the whole,
yeah.
I really do think that people are waking up and they're seeing through the bullshit. This is the first
Well,
time.
I know that so many Americans saw through the corporate media, knew it was fucking lying and bullshitting them with their wonderful Hillary stories that we had to swallow every single night while they eviscerated Trump, and never said anything almost negative. Like CNN, almost nothing negative about Hillary. And, people saw through that. So that's why it's a great day. And you may not know it yet, but that is a revolution when the consumerist, the world's number one consumerist nation actually finds its way to the unvarnished raw truth. Trump held up a mirror and told us who we were. And a lot of people didn't like it at first, but it was true.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an epiphany today where my thoughts ran that whatever needs to be healed is being revealed. And
yeah, I totally hear that.
And we need these characters. Yeah. It's kind of like the Joseph Campbell thing where the story, what makes Darth Vader Darth Vader? It's not just that he was just born Darth Vader. There's a reason why he became Darth Vader. It's the same thing with Maleficent. If you saw the film, it's Angelina Jolie. Okay, I don't care about her, but the idea was, she just wasn't an evil queen. Just popped out that way. She became that way. And I think that people are facing their own shadows, because it's easy to point to Trump and say, well, he's a misogynist, or he, whatever, is a womanizer or whatever. But then there's something within each one of us that we need to clear. Maybe we don't behave in the same ways, but there is some dark side of us that we also need to expose and clear in many respects. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, he showed us who we were, absolutely. And who we were was, a bunch of people who, run around calling other people names, unfairly run around calling other people devastating names. And, that's big. It's not small. And then I think also, to begin to see, I mean, it depends on how deep you see into it, it really does. Because like after a while, I could look at Hillary and see like, there's a woman, she has no ideas. She has no vision at all. All she does is just say Donald Trump doesn't respect women. Well, she doesn't respect women either, especially women who accuse her husband of rape. She goes out of her way then to destroy their entire lives, like they do in Saudi Arabia, her largest donor. But, seriously. She had no ideas, and in the middle of it, when they're still out there saying our first woman president about somebody who's pretty immoral, dishonest, and has no ideas, but yet everybody's like, it's very important that we have a woman president because we're not sexist. There was like 10 layers of that.
Margaret Thatcher.
Huh?
Margaret Thatcher was a woman. Lady Bathory was a woman. Marie Antoinette was a woman.
Right.
I
know. And then they say they're not. They say they're not sexist when all that mattered to them was gender. That was all that mattered to them.
Yeah.
And they say they're not sexist. They're not sexist. And then she says, she's got great ideas for America. And actually, when she goes out there, it just stuck in my craw when she's out there telling, courting the black vote and talking about how we do have racism in this country. And of course, we do have pockets of it.
Yeah.
But she's saying all that while it was her husband who locked up, who passed the laws that locked up 1 in 6 black men in this country, more than were held, at any time, including under slavery.
Yes.
And then she's out there offering to fix the shit she caused, and people are buying it.
Yeah.
And the fact there's no jobs, she says she didn't bring jobs. Well, how about we just reverse NAFTA that your husband signed?
Yeah.
How about we just reverse that?
And stop TPP, which I know Donald Trump is saying that he's vowing that he's going to stop it. Although in between now and then, the Twitters or whatever, there's a lot of talk that Obama is going to try and shove TPP as fast as possible.
Oh, yeah, he's going to try. He's going to try to shove everything that he was put there to do. He's going to try to shove it in right at the end. I mean, he already made, when I talk about manufacturing dissent too, like while everybody was out there getting arrested at Keystone Pipeline, and that was in the news cycle, he passed, laws to create 2 more pipelines. So whenever they're out there telling you that they're against something, be sure to look twice. Be sure to look twice.
Right, exactly. And it was under a Democratic president that the idea that you can assassinate anyone under the NDAA, you could kill anyone for any reason, that was passed. The NSA mass spying scandal, that whole thing has been shown to be true and pushed through very, very strongly. And under the Obama administration, also whistleblowers have been prosecuted and attacked more than any other administration. And then the CIA.
I'll tell you, our whistleblower friends, we have to say this, they have been living in terror under Obama for years.
Yeah.
And they're all very happy that Trump won because, he isn't the one who's out there advocating for the destruction of whistleblowers.
That would be quite amazing. I mean, I think what was one of the things, though? One of the things I think he said that he would do immediately when he becomes president, or no, maybe he said that she belonged in jail. That Hillary.
Oh yeah, he said that at the debate.
At the debate, I know when he said that, I was like, oh shit.
Oh, that was gangsta.
That was gangsta.
Wasn't it? That's what my son said. My son said, oh, shit, that is gangsta.
I was like, be careful. You don't want to be suicided. Oh, can we talk about that, Roseanne? The body count of the Clinton. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much, but what is up with...
Well, it's on YouTube. You just have to go in there and or just Google Clinton body count. It's over 120. People that to be fair, they do call a lot of it suicide because people can get really depressed and then shoot themselves in the back of the head 6 or 7 times. They can really get that depressed, Christine.
6 or 7 times. Or they're just looking into the irregularities of the primaries and the whole Bernie Sanders thing, and then they end up, robbed. They weren't robbed, but apparently it was a break-in, and nobody took anything, but they also ended up killing them, shooting them in the head or something. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, there's a lot of depressed people out there.
I guess so. Fuck. We've got a couple minutes left in the show, and I just wanted to open it up to you because I know we've talked about the election. I know we've talked about also the movie Roseanne for President. How can people, first of all, watch Roseanne for President? How can they catch it?
I think they go on DirecTV and Amazon and Netflix, all those things. They go all those things, iTunes, all those things where stuff is. But they should watch it because I really feel like both Bernie, not to mention Hillary, but both Bernie and Trump borrowed a lot of the concepts that I had. And I'm so glad that finally I have it on film, the proof that people rip my shit off.
They've been doing it in comedy for a long time. Now you can show they've been doing it in politics too. And congratulations.
Yeah, but this time I got the proof, and it's so awesome. But people asked me in 2013, will you run again? And I said I would run again, but only if I could run as a Republican. And then when I saw Donald Trump doing it, and he did what I would have done, which is, try to reboot the entire Republican Party for being massively irrelevant. And he did do that, and that caused a huge reboot of the Democrat Party too. So it's going to be interesting 4 years.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very interesting. Oh, and congratulations. Marijuana, recreational marijuana.
Oh, I know. Isn't that great?
Yes.
That's so wonderful. That is so civilized. I mean, I'm just really thrilled with that.
And apparently there were a few other states across the country also passed it. So that's
people come up to me all the time now, and since I ran on legalization, and they'll just always hand me some real nice, gorgeous buds wherever I go. And they were putting it in my fence today. That's cool.
Well, and one of the most important parts of that too, about legalization of marijuana in general and cannabis and all of the medicinal properties of it. But the thing that I think is most important is the way of decriminalizing it, so that you don't have these young, beautiful men and women rotting in jail for.
Well, I know there's another Clinton thing. He made that happen for all these, kids, working class kids, particularly working class kids, teenagers of color, getting into the jail system for just a small amount of marijuana. It really was a war on pot smokers. And, they could take your house and everything in it if they wanted to, and they did.
Yeah.
So just for a joint, and that's been until recently. So, legalization, as I said when I ran for president, that's the tip of the spear into getting rid of the stuff that took our country in the wrong direction, the war on drugs. It's how they brought fascism here.
And then there was the other aspect, I think, also with the Clinton crime family on privatization of prisons, which when you start making prisons private, I don't think people understand that. But then you have a quota that basically you're making a profit off of putting people in jail.
Well, here's what it means, Christine. Here's a good simple way of saying it. It means taking public money and putting it in private pocket. That's what it means.
Yeah. It's
a heist.
Yeah.
And it's against public wealth, which, is schools, hospitals, roads, infrastructure. And just like she using her private BlackBerry for government secrets or emails, she was privatizing our country's secrets. Yeah. She was putting our country's secrets in the hands of our enemies. And then even Bernie goes, I'm sick and tired of hearing about her emails. You like my Bernie?
Yeah. That was
but,
good.
Even Bernie fucking sells out at the end. But yeah, because people actually died. it actually had a cost for her to do that, like it did in Haiti. And they're all like, oh, Hillary, she didn't win. He didn't win. Well, thank God. I want to smack those people. I mean, seriously, but I use my meditation devices so that I hold back. Plus, I broke my leg, so I can't get out after them, stick my foot up their ass. So, I just have to, pray for them.
Just pray for them. Just pray for them.
Yeah, pray that they'll wake up some more, like the rest of us have done.
Well, hopefully they'll hear this program and share it on social media as well, and get the word out. So,
yeah, it's a great thing. The Second American Revolution, where the people, did not do as their masters told them to do.
Oh,
they thought for themselves.
That's
it was
deep.
Great. It's great. Here's to freedom, Christine. Nice talking with you.
Here's to freedom, Roseanne Barr. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me and our listeners. And people can catch you. So listen, you got to check out the movie. It's Roseanne for President. It's perfectly timed with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah. And it is, yeah.
And you get to see wonderful Roseanne in action. It's behind the scenes stuff. It's really with you and Johnny, right? Johnny's there. Johnny is
yeah, Johnny's in it. He's my mentor.
He's your man.
He's my male nurse since I broke my leg. When Johnny came, because he had broken his shoulder, so when Johnny came to help me, the day he came, he was able to fly, and my blood pressure went down 60 points the minute I saw him.
Oh.
Now, if that ain't love, I don't know.
Oh, damn it. Oh, you make me believe in love, too. That's gorgeous.
That's cool.
Well, thank you again so much, Roseanne. And,
Thank you, Christine.
And if people want to catch you, they can follow you on Twitter, right? Roseanne Barr, the real Roseanne?
No, yeah, the real Roseanne on Twitter.
Okay. I want to encourage people to check that out. Thank you so much. I love you, and happy birthday. Happy birthday month,
honey.
Scorpio Mama.
Thank you, honey.
All right?
Yeah.
And
bitches.
Get better.
Thanks.
All right, babe. Bye. And that was the wonderful Roseanne Barr talking about the election, talking about a whole bunch of stuff. You can catch her on Twitter and also catch the DVD. Go check out the film Roseanne for President. And that's it for today's show. I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can please tell your friends and family about Out of the Box Radio. You can subscribe so you never miss an episode on iTunes, and also we're on iHeartRadio. So just look up Out of the Box Radio with Christine, and you'll find us. And also, we will make available to you the YouTube video of this program so you can share it on social media, send it out as emails, and all that good stuff. So until next week, I want to remind you, as always, to think outside of the box. I'm Christine Blasdale. Bye for now.